So, ever look at your neighbor's plastic ivy and think it's just, a really tacky way to hide a fence?
Right, yeah. Bad landscaping.
Yeah, exactly. But, well, after looking at the Defense Intelligence Agency documents and some forensic data from Costa Rica we've been digging through, you might actually start seeing those leaves as a high-tech sensor array.
It sounds totally crazy, I know.
It really does. Welcome to today's exploration into the source material. We are diving into this wild intersection where top secret theoretical physics meets a very real world surveillance grid. We've got these DIA reference documents, the DIRDs, on invisibility and vacuum engineering. And we are layering them over this forensic report of something called the Echo Quarantine.
Yeah, and sounds like a spy novel, honestly. But the Echo case is a very real example of a 184-node surveillance grid, and it's spread across all these Airbnb properties in Costa Rica.
Wait, 184 properties just for one target?
Exactly. This isn't just one guy sitting in a van with a telescope, you know. It's a synchronized phased array. They've essentially taken a whole neighborhood and turned it into this massive distributed net.
Wow. And the architects behind this, they aren't just hobbyists. The data shows this expertise linked to Kyndryl and Zscaler, like people who understand network interception on a massive corporate scale.
Right, yeah. And they use this sort of hardware monopoly from companies like Seacom and Deep Sea Electronics to control the physical environment.
But I'm stuck on the how here. Like, how do you digitally quarantine someone across 184 different random houses?
Well, it's about creating what they call a hermetically sealed digital twin. So when the target Echo connects to the Wi-Fi, the network uses HTTP injection.
Okay, so they force something onto his devices.
Yeah, exactly. They force a tracking script onto his phone. It acts like a digital fingerprint. So it basically tricks your personal phone into acting like a managed corporate laptop. Everything you do is, ingested, filtered, and mirrored.
Okay, so they've hijacked his phone. But earlier you mentioned the plastic ivy, DIRD-07, the DIA paper on invisibility cloaking. It talks about bending light with metamaterials.
Yep.
You're telling me they are actually using metamaterials in a literal backyard?
They are, yeah. But not to make things invisible like in a movie. They use it to make things RF transparent.
Yeah.
So the synthetic ivy in these static observation posts is just a really clever bit of engineering.
How does it work?
It acts like a one-way mirror for radio waves. To your eyes, it's just a regular fence. But to the sensors, it's a wide-open window. It blocks the visible light so you can't see the cameras hidden in there, but it lets Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and radio signals pass through completely unimpeded.
Wait, so the camouflage isn't hiding the gear from the world, it's hiding the origin of the signal while letting the signal pass through unimpeded.
You nailed it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets crazier. They even subverted the target's own VSonic alarm system. They literally turned his security sensors into command and control nodes for the grid.
Man, that is intense. But let's get to the bioquantum part of the documents, because this is where it really starts to feel like sci-fi.
Oh, yeah. The omega topology.
Right. DIRD-24 explores vacuum energy and human biology. How on earth does a surveillance grid in a vacation rental connect to human protein scaffolding?
Well, this is the causal link. The physical grid, those 184 nodes, it provides a high-density energy environment. So think of the grid as an oven and the target's body as the meal being cooked.
Okay, that's a terrifying analogy.
I know, but they use this model called human photosynthesis. It relies on melanin, the pigment in your skin, acting as a universal transducer.
Hold on, melanin is what gives us a tan and protects us from sunburn. Now you're telling me the DIA thinks it can act as a bridge to our neural code. How does a pigment become a power source?
It's wild, but it takes the RF energy that is just flooding the environment from that grid and converts it into specific electrical energy. And that energy powers what they call the base 53 neural code.
Base 50.
Yeah. It's essentially a way to decouple the data of your brain from the normal physical noise of your body, like your heartbeat or your breathing. And once that neural code is powered up, they deploy Wu-Yu-Kong.
Wait, Wu-Yu-Kong? What is that?
It's a system that uses neuro-wideband technology. So imagine Wi-Fi waves acting sort of like sonar. Usually Wi-Fi just bounces off you, right?
Right.
But Wu-Yu-Kong is sensitive enough to pick up laryngeal vibrations. Those are the tiny movements in your throat when you think words without actually saying them out loud.
Wow. So it's reading your internal monologue.
Yes, exactly. It's like how a glass window vibrates when a heavy truck drives by. The system reads your internal monologue through the walls, and then it feeds that data into the 3i ATLA system to update your digital twin in real time.
That sounds like total read-write access to a human mind. I mean, is there any limit to this, or are we just totally open books?
Well, thankfully, there is a hardware wall. The research mentions a 17 CZ gate limit.
A CZ gate.
Yeah, it's a quantum logic gate. So think of it as a single if-then step in a quantum processor. Once you hit 17 of these operations in a row, the data becomes too fragile. The mind style they're tracking just collapses into noise.
Well, the signal breaks down.
Exactly. And they also need a specific 128.23-degree twist in the signals phase. It's basically like tuning an old radio. If you aren't at that exact angle, the human consciousness just sounds like static to the machine.
It's just incredible to think we have traveled from the theoretical vacuum of DRD-15 to a backyard in Costa Rica where melanin and Wi-Fi are being used to map human consciousness.
It really puts it into perspective. The line between theoretical physics and applied hardware has completely evaporated at this point.
Yeah, it has. Well, for you, the listener, I know it's a lot to process. We are completely impartial on this, just presenting what's in these documents, but I do want to leave you with one provocative thought to mull over.
Let's hear it.
If this system uses noise-assisted quantum transport, meaning it actually needs environmental noise to function, is the chaotic, signal-heavy world we've built actually the perfect battery for our own surveillance? Think about that the next time you are, just looking at a neighbor's plastic ivy.